Well guys, the second trailer is finally here. The Secrets of Dumbledore trailer was meant to drop last Thursday, but unfortunately it was delayed. But it's here now, so let's break it down. I will break this down the best I can, scene by scene, but I will group similar scenes together to try to make it easier to follow along. And I will be skimming over or even ignoring a lot of stuff from the first trailer. And this will be a long video, so strap yourselves in. But as always, before we start, if you're a fan of Harry Potter or Fantastic Beasts, make sure you subscribe. There will be a lot of videos between now and when the film comes out in April. And I've got a lot of videos already on the channel, so check them out. But yeah, let's get to this trailer. Honestly, I would say this is one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time. We could argue it might show too much, but it was epic. And I think it might have convinced a lot of people to go and see this film. It starts with an overview of Hogwarts Castle, and we get some Michael Gambon Dumbledore dialogue, which is straight from the Half-Blood Prince, where he discusses Tom Riddle's memories with Harry. But the clip they're using is actually from the Goblet of Fire, when Dumbledore, Snape and McGonagall discuss Harry's name being put into the Goblet of Fire. So they've kind of mashed these two scenes up. But yeah, just like with trailer 1, it starts with old Dumbledore and transitions into Jude Law's version, who is grasping at the Blood Pact. And I believe that Dumbledore is torn here because he doesn't want to fight the man he loves, but he knows he is the only one that can stop him. And Dumbledore is the star of the show. He's the leading man, the main character. His secrets can save the world. But what are those secrets? We could argue there are many secrets, but the main secret is his past of Grindelwald. And the trailer is wasting no time, as Grindelwald and Dumbledore will meet in this film, more than once. The first meeting seems to be in some sort of cafe, and Dumbledore tries to reason with Grindelwald. But Grindelwald is not budging, and he reminds Dumbledore that it was Dumbledore who said they could reshape the world. And this is part of the Secrets of Dumbledore, because when Dumbledore and Grindelwald were young men, around 17, they fell in love one summer. They dreamed of becoming great and powerful wizards, gathering the Deathly Hallows, tearing down the International Statue of Secrecy, and forcing the Muggles into subservice for the greater good. But now Dumbledore regrets this. He does not want that now. He even lost his sister because of this. But he still loves Grindelwald. But at the same time, he wants his defeat. But I imagine he doesn't want him to die. Dumbledore thinks he can still reason with him. And Grindelwald saying, with or without you, could mean that Grindelwald still wants Dumbledore by his side. But this meeting literally goes up in flames, and both men depart until their next meeting, where they go head to head, wand to wand. The Blood Pact must be gone at this point. Both legendary wizards duel, and they seem to be surrounded by some sort of white aura, or perhaps some sort of shield charm that stops any interference. But this is not their legendary duel of 1945, we are only in the 1930s. But I think for this film to be a success, they had to meet and they had to lock wands. But I think this duel will end in a draw or a stalemate. And can we just take a minute to appreciate the shot where both wizards have their wands pointed at each other, whilst resting their hands on each other's hearts. And I think this shows us that they're on opposite sides, they're fighting, but they still love each other. But Grindelwald sees Dumbledore as turning his back on his own kind, on the wizarding world. And Dumbledore sees Grindelwald's plan as madness. And this is truly a tragic story. But yeah, Dumbledore and Grindelwald meeting is not a plot hole, but speaking of so-called plot holes, Professor McGonagall is back. And she goes to what I believe is the Hogshead Inn, owned by Albus's brother Aberforth in Hogsmeade. She tells Albus some troubling news concerning Gellert Grindelwald. And I believe this news will be that Grindelwald is running for Supreme Mugwump. And now the stakes are even higher, as if Grindelwald wins this election, he has the power, the position and popularity to start his war with the Muggles. But this news might force Dumbledore to act sooner than originally planned. And if we go to the temple, we can see 3 different colours for 3 different candidates. And Grindelwald's colour is green. And I suppose the witches and wizards raising their wands, or them declaring their support, or even casting their votes. And because Grindelwald is standing on top of the temple, declaring that the war against the Muggles starts today, does this mean that he wins the election? Or he thinks he's about to win, and he declares his true intentions? But no matter what, as I predicted, this trailer features a lot more of Mads Mikkelsen as Gellert Grindelwald. We can see he does attend several locations in this film, including the Berlin Ministry of Magic, some sort of banquet or some sort of formal dinner party. And this is probably him gathering support in Germany for his election. And this is the very same party where Jacob Kowalski causes havoc with his new wand. But it seems like his arm is forced into the air above his head. He's not in control of his actions. And it looks like he cast some sort of weather spell, but to me it feels forced, and it's out of Jacob's control. So either the wand is doing this on its own, or someone is causing the wand to do it. This could be Dumbledore's plan, and the reason why he gave Jacob a wand, or it could be someone else using the wand to cause a scene at the party. But yeah, even after all hell breaks loose at the party, Jacob still wants to keep his wand. And yeah, Jacob Kowalski and Albus Dumbledore, the team up I think we've all been waiting for. The great and powerful Albus Dumbledore and the nomads Jacob Kowalski. But Dumbledore sees him as his equal. And I believe the scene at the very end of the trailer on the steps of Bhutan is once Dumbledore and Grindelwald's duel is over. I think it's quite clear that's Dumbledore's first army on the steps, relaxing after the battle's over. Obviously Dumbledore and Jacob are there, but I also think that's Newt Scamander, Yusuf Kama, Lally Hicks, but there's no sign of Theseus Scamander, and I am worried for Theseus, especially after the Manticore lair. And Newt Scamander says they need help, and who's there for them? In the next shot, Pickett, wielding Newt's wand, riding Teddy the Niffler, who has Theseus's phoenix scarf, to the rescue. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't look good for Theseus. We can actually see him fall, but I don't know if he falls to his death. Newt does catch him, but honestly with Theseus, he's kinda in limbo, especially now that Lita's gone. I can totally see him dying, to raise the stakes and make it even more personal for Newt now. But yeah, moving on to the other Dumbledore. Remember, it's not just the secrets of Albus Dumbledore, but the whole family. We have Credence Barebone, also known as Aurelius Dumbledore, the so-called brother of Albus. And Grindelwald told him that Albus wants to kill him, which is complete bullshit. That's a complete lie. Albus Dumbledore wants to help Credence. And as we saw in the last film, Credence now has a friend Phoenix, and this Phoenix flies overhead, but just out of Credence's reach. And I believe that could refer to Credence's true identity being right in front of him, but just out of his reach. I 100% believe that Credence is Aurelius Dumbledore, but in no way is he Albus's brother. He is some sort of other relation. And I also think it's pretty obvious that Phoenix is definitely Fawkes, the Phoenix companion of Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter. So from now on we'll refer to the Phoenix as Fawkes, who does reappear in the Battle of the Dumbledores in the streets of Berlin. But this time he seems to side with Albus, or at least stand between the Dumbledores. Perhaps Fawkes doesn't want them to fight, or maybe his allegiance is torn, because remember it was said there's a legend in the Dumbledore family that Phoenix will come to any Dumbledore in dire need. And you'll notice with Fawkes, he is rather dull and dark compared to the poster and from Harry Potter, where he has much more vibrant orange and red colours. And I think this is a reference to Credence's dark side, not only to his Obscurus, but also the path he's chosen. But I think Fawkes will get his true colours once again when he sides with Dumbledore, and or when Credence is redeemed. But before Credence's redemption, it looks like we will have one of the most unique duels in the series so far. Credence and Dumbledore will fight in the streets of Berlin. Credence has his wand and his Obscuro powers, but Dumbledore blocks and disapparates away. But now we can see that Dumbledore gets behind Credence, perhaps stuns him, and uses a spell on the back of his head. And now we're into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Doctor Strange. We're in the mirror dimension here. Or maybe inside Credence's head or something. Both Dumbledores face off in this dark area, but Credence is still no match for Albus. And surprisingly, he uses the Deluminator in battle. We know it's able to put out and store lights, and it was able to guide Ron back to Harry and Hermione. But now Dumbledore's using it in battle against Credence. Perhaps to absorb the darkness of his obscurus, or even transfer light back into him. He shoots out some sort of light, and then we transition back into the real world. Honestly, I don't know what's happened here, but Credence is on the ground, he's defeated. And I think Dumbledore could have easily beat Credence, even with the obscural powers. Credence is no match for Albus Dumbledore. Dumbledore is just far too powerful, far too skillful, far too resourceful. Credence has a lot of raw power, but he's no match. But Dumbledore does not want to harm Credence. He wants to save him from the Obscurus and from Gellert Grindelwald, who is just using him as a weapon. And perhaps this mirror dimension, or whatever we're going to call it, is Dumbledore's way of fighting Credence without harming him, and a possible way to remove the darkness inside of his heart and his mind, filling it with light. But no matter what is happening, it looks freaking cool. And I guess it's something very different than the duels we've seen in the past, where we usually get wizards spamming spells linking together like lightning, blah blah blah, lots of shiny colours. This is something different. So yeah, moving on to the third Dumbledore now, Aberforth Dumbledore, Albus's younger, legitimate brother. And this is a shot from the last trailer, but now we can see writing on the mirror. It could be anything, but we'll have a guess. It could possibly say, do you know, or do you know who? Do you know where? But many people are saying it says, do you know what it's like? And I think that makes the most sense. In terms of the letter placement, I think it's obvious who's writing this. It's Credence to his family. He's in Nurmgard, and he's communicating with Aberforth in the Hogshead Inn. Either intentionally, or some sort of magic is in play that links them together, because they're blood. But yeah, moving on now, let's talk about Professor Eulalie Hicks, also known as Lally. This trailer confirms that she is the one to recruit Jacob in New York. He's at his bakery though, and he wants nothing to do with the wizarding world. His heart is broken because Queenie left him to join Grindelwald in Paris. And it looks like the bakery isn't doing that great anymore, likely because Jacob's heart is not in it anymore, and times are tough in the 1930s. But somehow, Lally manages to convince him to join Newt's team. She probably mentions Queenie, and this is his chance to get her back. And I really love how she apparates into the bakery, and she's standing there eating pastry, and she says, "You do know I'm a witch, right?" Because no matter how dark the story gets, I always appreciate a bit of light-hearted fun. And that's part of why I love the character of Jacob, and I am excited for more of his adventures in the wizarding world. The members of Dumbledore's First Army, led by Newt Scamander. Newt is not really the main focal point of this trailer, but he does have a lot of new scenes, and old ones from the first trailer. We can see Dumbledore's First Army in Berlin, inside the Ministry I believe. It looks like they're following Grindelwald's followers, or perhaps Ministry officials, but the door shuts before they can get in. Yeah, Dumbledore's First Army isn't exactly official. It's kind of a vigilante group working outside of the Ministry, outside of the law. So it's likely they're not welcome in the Berlin Ministry, especially once Grindelwald takes over. But we know they will travel to Berlin, and later Bhutan, to stop Grindelwald, but it looks like Newt goes on a solo mission at the start of the movie, to China. He's protecting some sort of deer-like creature, which the guidebook confirms as a Quilin or a Chilin, Quilin. It seems like Vinda Rosier, Credence, and more followers are hunting this creature. But Newt Scamander puts his life on the line to protect it, and he's likely put it inside the case, and then is saved by a flying beast. And we know that Newt Scamander is a good wizard, but his real strength is his love and knowledge of the beasts. I am excited to see him interact with more of them over the series, because even though the beasts are not the main focal point anymore, they are not the main plot of the movie series, they're still important. And I'm always a fan when they come up with new and unique creatures that can interact with Newt and get involved in the story. But as Bunty tells Newt, no one can know everything, not even him. I kind of feel this line should be more aimed at Albus Dumbledore, but we could say that Bunty's referring to the beasts. Newt Scamander might be the best Magizoologist in the world or whatever, but Bunty, his assistant, she will know a thing or two. And you could also say this line refers to Bunty's growth as a character, because in the last movie she felt awkward. She was truly madly deeply in love with Newt and would do whatever he said, but now she's calling him out, standing up to him. But Newt does have his own words of wisdom, and I think they're aimed towards Dumbledore. Newt says, even if we make mistakes, we can make things right. Like I said, I think this is aimed towards Dumbledore once his secrets and mistakes are revealed. I think after this movie, Dumbledore will need his friends. And you guys know how big of a fan I am of Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore. I think he has the intensity required for Dumbledore, but also the wit and charm. You honestly feel safe when he's on screen, just like when Dumbledore shows up in the books, or some of the Harry Potter films. Examples of this are his scenes of Grindelwald, to his line about tea time, and everything else in between. I think he really is the perfect man for the job. And I think that'll do it because most of the other shots are old, or not really worth talking about, and this video is getting very long and I'm exhausted. But I will make follow-ups if you are interested, so let me know. But for now, make sure you post all your thoughts on the trailer. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else you want to talk about? But guys, this is just a quick overview, quick breakdown, nothing too detailed. But like I said, I can touch upon stuff in other videos if you want. But yeah, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you soon.